just not.
I would also say so.
I mean, the other thing you have to consider at HCM Multimedia is that
Everybody's an expert.
well,
No,
but
they're an expert in something, they're not going to be an expert in
but you have a challenge session in parallel to 5 other things.
Well, we can make a challenge session in parallel to a welcome reception in the storehouse if we wanted to.
No,
Yeah.
we have control.
You
We cannot
can
run this in the
advertise,
storehouse.
Why not? We control. 100%.
He's talking about something else.
But also it makes things
Well,
complicated.
it can be a dry event.
And right.
In the storehouse.
You're digging yourself deeper.
I have flashbacks of Bangkok when doing Chile Monday, you know.
We call it LRUI, lifelong retrieval under influence.
What was it?
What do we want?
No.
If we,
Greece.
Huh?
Greece.
No.
Yes. Bangkok had no drinks at least for me.
yes, I had no drinks in the
Dry.
banquet either. It was a dry conference.
Yes.
Yeah.
The drinks
Bangkok.
came
And
after.
what yes. In the Irish club.
Alright, let's focus less on the
Yeah.
dry and what Michael talks about, please.
But if we want to get the community enthused, we have to build as a general ACM multimedia or something. If it's in a workshop in Hyatt Parallel Hotel,
Yeah.
it's the biggest room, and there's loads of other stuff happening at the same time, nobody gives a damn, it's just us.
But the question was experts and novices, right?
Yeah.
And experts is good enough, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Yes,
now,
the
yes,
experts have to
okay,
be there.
I'm gonna ask you the question, put yourself in the middle of the conference next year, okay? There is a grand challenge session, you'll be involved in a grand challenge session somehow. How do we enthuse people to get involved next year, if we don't have a session, an actual competition?
So you're 1 year later, you mean?
I want to
26.
2026, how do we get people involved?
I think in the past the VPS community was very much interested in all the additional competitions, like also IE, NDR4B, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So
You're
The problem with the core VBS community is that it's running out of capacity, so now there's
That's
already
true.
3 things per year, and people
Yes,
are
that's the
kind
reason
of,
for-
oh, I don't have the time to do
So
anything.
not only time, you have to keep in mind that in Europe, fundings are getting cut, including the Netherlands, so travel is
Can
going to
we-
be increasingly
Pushing up.
travel money. And because of sustainability and so on, some universities are limiting even how many conferences. For you probably, like Sweden kind of started. Is it Norway?
Ireland's talking about it.
Norway has a catalog.
You could also do it offline, I mean online, virtually.
But that would kill lots of pride.
Look,
So Carl, you would suggest the novice session to get new people involved in the community, is that right?
excitement.
Because I would suggest that we have just the expert session, but then we also specifically have like maybe a
But the problem is,
demo
those
session.
expert sessions, we're all gonna be not taking part in it, right? That's the
Yes.
problem. We
But-
basically cut our community in half.
Yeah, but somebody has to build the system anyway,
Yes.
right? And so they should
So
be
how do
there.
we make it easy for people to build systems? What support we give? The challenge with Tien's guys, for example, is that your guys have to work with one of the existing systems. How easy, if you want this to be big, how easy do we make it for people to set up? It's already a big data set. It's already difficult.
So there are 2 parts. We are talking, one part is how to involve new people, join, and the other one is how to make it more appealing to the conference.
It's the same thing, I mean, if we make it appealing, we attract new people.
Yeah, so that,
One is a subset of the other. Because, so how would you get people to do that conference? Make the same types of tasks in the offline and in the online thing. So all the people who built something for the, I had all my algorithms run against this. Might as well bring the immediate results and slap some basic UI on top. So all the hard work is already done. The former, I have no idea. Just make it an interesting task.
But I think that if you allow novices, then it puts easy requirements on the user interface.
Yeah.
And I think that's what is hands-on
Makes so much
work
harder.
that you don't.
I can build something I can operate. I cannot necessarily, if I need to build something anyone can operate,
Yes.
it,
Can I just show the other one? So Louis, the designer, is the really point to win or just to have enjoyable experience for everybody? I think probably second one is more important.
Some people are
And I
very
think many
competitive.
people would like to try those systems. If people come there, imagine seniors from our community, they are like gonna be, oh, they wanna sit there and try, and our students probably, oh, what is this thing?
no, if you participate to a grand challenge, people will, the substantial fraction of the people who will participate to a grand challenge in the classical sense will be in it to win it, not to just have a good time.
I agree.
But what if the plan of that is there is the expert session, the actual challenge session? But there is part of the demo session where
Yeah.
all
We can
the
do demo.
systems participating are there.
And a pseudo competition.
Or like a
I wouldn't even
specific
frame it
area.
necessarily as a competition. I would suggest just having it sort of an open demo where people
Yeah,
can try out this.
but not just like interspersed somewhere, but a specific
Yes,
area
yes,
of the
absolutely,
demo
absolutely.
is
Group,
the right
And
level.
ideally with the
Yeah.
experts there to explain the systems
Yeah.
and.
What I believe, what I think actually it's really fun also for novices to join the COVID's audience. You see, why this is very interesting. I think I noticed first time that kind of effect in Iceland, 2017. Jan Suborov came from this, and I don't think he's seen this for a while. You know, I think he was involved from early track with, and his task was there, and yeah. So he was really, oh my god, I think we should make all benchmarks like this. You know, like this is like Olympics, you know, like, but only for nerds. You know, it was like, well, I can remember. Like,
Remember,
Yeah, but no.
Yes, but tracks as
Sigma,
well. Still not do that.
Yeah.
And I mean, he's still running track, so
But
he could have if he wanted to.
the reason we're still here is because CMM want to replicate VPS/LSE data. So they want that first thing. Right, so you have to put on that.
Only
That's the
fancy and
demonstration
shiny.
thing, and that's enough. Right?
Yeah.
Yes, but it has to be zero stakes.
Yes,
Because,
okay, fine.
because
Yeah.
if you stake anything, and you say, oh, this is a proper competition at the flagship conference in the area, and then you rely on random people
No, that's
you've never
not.
seen. The participant with the system that performed best in the expert system, the expert thing, who's gonna lose the competition because they got a novice that did not understand the task, they're gonna be pissed. So this
People
is.
separate
So
classes.
let's do.
Let's not do prizes,
Not do a competition,
let's
yeah.
do evaluation in terms of, look, we have clear parameters that we control as much as possible, and then we can argue this is a scientific benchmark, because these are the things which we can measure. And the other thing is the visibility, community service, blah, blah, blah event. Let's say, look, we do demo, everybody who's interested, then we do
Yeah,
demo.
I'm happy with
Yes.
that.
And then have more novices do that, because you can just change up there every
Yes,
task, because
exactly.
otherwise you wouldn't change, because if a novice has learned how to use the system, you wanna use them, but.
Right. Make it
they're-
interesting by having a prize for every round for the best novice.
Yeah,
Yeah,
something
it's
simple,
weird.
candy.
Hey,
Piece of
congratulations,
candy.
you get an
Piece
Easter
of
egg,
candy.
congratulations, you
Yeah.
get.
Piece of candy, piece of
Yeah,
candy.
yeah.
That's it.
Ali's
Something.
painting.
Small, you know,
Yeah.
small
That's
whiskey,
Yeah.
small whiskey,
Yes.
whiskey bottle.
Yes.
Something like this.
Or a bottle of whiskey every round.
Oh, yeah.
How, what's the budget of this? A bottle of whiskey every round?
No, our aim here, right, is to get people in twos.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah.
That's fun,
Yeah, yeah.
it's,
Right,
Yeah.
at the right part of the conference, it exists where everybody is gonna be.
So you know what you can do? I did it for my students.
Well, that's what I'm saying, it doesn't matter.
You buy a bottle of wine and you buy chocolates, and then you ask them, you know, somebody doesn't drink, somebody like, hey guys, the first one can choose, you know, like Moldovan wine, Georgian wine, or Italian, plus there are chocolates, you know. You choose what you want, so somebody picks.
And then hopefully by the next year, we have more people in the state.
So one thing you could do is if you start with a preparation session where people just prep, then this happens, you know, you can even do the novice session at the, welcome session. After that, there's the competition.
Yeah, fine.
By that time, you will, you know, that gives you pressure to debug things, you have someone to practice, you get to see some types of tasks. may create more tax at the disadvantage, but otherwise you could recycle them.
Yeah.
But that might bring people, if they have seen this at the reception, to the products.
And the following year, the data center remains the same, the second year, and maybe we provide some baseline retrieval system that you can use by.
Yeah.
By the way, what do you do yourself? There's an API written by us.
I mean, there's systems out there, right?
Yeah.
There's at least half a dozen things that have been participating in the special scene that
Yeah.
you can get from the if anyone will ever bother to look at
Well,
them.
to make it easier, basically, we would give them like a prepared data set for that system, so that it's ready to do it. Yeah.
It should be made as easy as possible. Okay, have we decided?
Not sure. No,
Not
I
sure
personally,
about the-
I
about the
personally
exact
would
logistics.
rather do expert session and then
Yeah.
let everybody try.
Yeah,
So why don't we do the expert session in the
That's also
workshop?
possible.
Yeah.
Expert session takes place in the workshop.
Wait a second, you talk workshop, grand challenge,
Yeah, we're doing that. The way to get this, we're in charge. The way to get this to work is we make it do it.
But the grand challenge can be a competition with the experts. And then.
No, the grand challenge is gonna be the asynchronous and the synchronous.
We will say something about the synchronous.
Okay.
Well, I mean, the grand challenge should also have the classical grand challenge aspects, as in you actually get to present your stuff with at least the
Yeah,
poster.
right.
And there's a leaderboard
Yes.
and blah, blah, blah,
This
so
is
all of
what-
this is happening before.
Now, with the grand challenge, there is a workshop that takes place before the grand challenge, where you actually come and use your practice.
Okay.
By workshop, you mean an actual, a co-located, thing that happens in the workshop slot, or you mean a
It's
session?
up to us.
Yeah, but
In the
it-
workshop
it-
slot,
it
probably
changes,
makes
it
more
changes the
sense.
logistics dramatically.
Yeah.
Because those are fundamentally, from a proceedings point of view, from a conference setup point of view, those are two
It
different.
can be a workshop that doesn't have proceedings. It's just an event. I don't.
No, but I mean, you're really talking about an extended conference session, right?
Yes. But that's not.
So it's kind of two sessions to the.
But the grand challenge track will have multiple grand challenges,
Yes,
right? So
yes,
this
yes.
is
This is
something
one
that
of the
will
grand
need, this is
challenges.
gonna, yes, this is one of the grand
That'll
challenges.
get
but then
treated
it will-
differently to everybody else.
that will presume, well, that's the question, right? Is the grand challenge part different to everybody else? Or is it just, oh, by the way, there's this second half to the event that is not technically part of the grand challenge, but is another thing that happens interactively?
Let me turn the question around and say, let's say we get 3 grand challenges, 2 are conventional, 1 is conversational search that requires an interactive element. We accept it.
Mhm.
Right. You don't say no.
So some grand challenges, if I look at this, committee grand challenges, there's this, the longest running one, I don't know how they call it, social media prediction or something like that. It started with this is JD.com, I don't know who sponsored it, there is even significant money involved there. And there are teams, does anybody know it? It's pretty large, it's multimedia, and it's been running for like maybe, I would say 5 to 10 years already, and they always have 2, 3, like they have a leaderboard somehow beforehand, so it's asynchronous. But also they have different ones. One is like social media prediction. It's like something like about popularity of the media, like mostly marketing type task, And the other one is I don't know something, but they clearly have separate kind of scoring mechanisms and so on and so on. Something in the order of 10-ish.
I mean, the typical grand challenge is asynchronous, right? Where you do all the evaluation in advance and then you just.
It's like hacking. Yeah, you
Yeah.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
Yeah, that's a lot of
Bunch
grand
plus minus, check them.
Yeah, I think if you try to make the interactive part during the grand challenge track of the conference, there's 2 disadvantages, maybe in the sense that you don't treat the challenges in the same way how you allocate your time budget, that's one thing. And the other thing is, as you said, you want to present leaderboard or results, you don't know that or just know it 5 minutes before. So if you do that in a workshop session before, then you could have these things, and maybe you do, I don't know, that's proceedings wise, this is a logistics question, because you might want to update the paper
Challenge
Yeah.
track that just presents Grand Challenge things,
Yeah.
whatever. There might be a non-archival workshop that happens on the day before the event to actually do the interactive part of the experiment. And there is a sub-session in the demo track
Yeah.
that has the things that
Yeah.
just opens this up to everybody. And then it fits neatly
Yeah.
in all the categories the conference has anyway. I mean, yeah, with a bit of, but we can do that. But at least it doesn't introduce something fundamentally new, so if somebody wants to do this next year or the year after or whatever, it doesn't completely break the
If you
format.
want asynchronous, we need to have an associated version.
Also for synchronous, we need to watch that.
Sorry,
Oh,
asynchronous.
it's-
I mean,
it's not-
yeah,
Well, it doesn't,
Asynchronous.
it doesn't necessarily need to be a proper workshop with
Like, you won't have publications and
yeah.
Yeah.
It's still part of the Grand Challenge, we just essentially need to have a room booked, during the workshop, part of the conference or the year
I think it's, you know, like using the word workshop is probably, we need to find another word. that doesn't-
I mean,
Bring confusion
it's
with
the,
other
it's
workshops,
the
with work-
interactive session.
The interactive session
But
of,
LSE is
uh,
also a workshop.
LSE is workshop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
LSE has
LSE is
only within as an
Yeah.
actual, we tried to get LSE as a special session, permanent special session, and there was much more convincing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
so it's not a challenge, I mean, it's
No,
just a
correct,
workshop.
yeah, a workshop.
yes.
But we would need publications.
Yeah, but the publications will go into the Grand Challenge.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's
They
why
got
I-
it there.
Okay,
The
yeah,
workshops
that's
doesn't
true.
need publications, just needs a
That's
room.
true.
Yeah,
Yes.
I mean, the only thing is if you want to update your paper after the interactive session, then the proceedings would need to come after the conference.
Yeah,
No,
why should we do that?
No.
With them, not possible.
Okay.
But there's no need to do that.
But also for the Grand, are all
Only for the
the
results, right?
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
So,
There could be an archive.
Well, if you know the location of results beforehand, it's easy to do anything. Like,
Guys, how about
Yeah,
this
but
one?
if you want the proceedings available at the start of the conference, the workshop will technically happen after.
How-
Yeah, no, but I'm saying this, yeah. it's-
to actually replace those papers with interactive versions. Not very
Not needed, you know why it's not needed? We could do the same as you would for M&M, for example. And then after, it's done, because kind of M&M has this deal with Tom, traditionally. We go for a Tom paper, kind of with everybody who participated in this topic, invite. It's already,
Yeah.
Tom paper with, everybody who participated as an author, like it's gonna be paper with lots of authors,
No, I think it's great. The only thing is that we are already overloaded with the other papers, right?
We'll have the results of the asynchronous world for the paper, actually.
Yeah.
So we have that, it's just the interactive element that's problematic.
I mean, what we can say is that a requirement to participate in the interactive
It's
part
not
is to. The requirement to participate in the interactive part is to participate in the same subtasks for the non-interactive. Because then your stuff is going to be evaluated beforehand. And then also you can do the evaluation of the slide. And then it can still be, it's archived sometime, somehow, whatever.
I have one question. Do we need to make it synchronous? Wouldn't we just do it asynchronously like Breakqueen always does with the ABS does? ABS. Because it can be interactive also if it is asynchronous.
Well,
They have an interactive task, for example.
I mean, we have this system that is perfectly capable of running interactive evaluations asynchronously. We just never used it.
Yes.
But it is there.
Yeah.
We could even do that. There are some. I mean, you're losing the whole visibility thing, but then you can still do this in the demo session.
Yeah.
That would be an option. So then you can essentially run the whole thing beforehand.
Yeah.
Get the results back.
Yes.
You get your results back more or less immediately. You don't know how well you did in comparison to everybody else before everybody finishes, but you at least know how well you did. I mean, there is to do this.
Yeah, the result will be presented at the grand challenge.
Yes.
Then we
Yes.
will need to roll
We
the
can.
ground challenge after the demo session, which is.
Yes, and then it's essentially everybody who submits an interactive thing gets a free slot in the demo session if they want it.
Yeah.
People will be encouraged to do that because we can say, okay, there's going to be a best sub demo thing, whatever, or like, you know, it's something judged in some means to be determined. Just to give people a bit of an extra encouragement to actually show up and show their thing. And then it would also fit neatly into the timeline. We just need to have a freeze instance that does this and tech support and whatever, because people cannot be bothered to do the open paper. But I mean, we have the technology in place to do this sort of thing. That would probably simplify this.
Yeah, I think so.
So it's just a demo session. Right.
The demo session, but the competition.
But
in about
the challenge,
months.
the challenge session of course as well.
Yeah.
And then you just have
The challenge session will have happened like 2 months early.
For example.
Yes.
No.
But-
No, at the conference.
And the conference,
No,
yes,
it's
there was
just,
challenge
it's just
session.
a regular grand challenge session
Yeah.
that presents the
Yes.
results and
Yeah.
we discuss.
Yes, but
the
not an actual
story.
competition that's taking place in the grand challenge
Yes.
session.
No.
That's happened in
There's
September.
There's probably before that,
Yeah.
there's people that need to submit their papers, so this
Right,
is
right. Must be
some summary.
time frame is the question.
No, the time frame isn't
No,
great,
but
but
what
we
you-
need sleep, right? It's,
But
there's-
what you could do is like you ask for papers before describing the systems and just leave like close page for results and then people
For the camera ready.
update this for
Uh-huh,
the camera.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I get that.
Because that's what Trackbit also does.
Yeah. It's not that your scores, but they don't see everybody else's scores,
Yeah.
it's such an interactive event, which makes it more interesting to attend. Okay.
People buy like 10 sample queries.
So, the one thing that I figured out from that discussion is that they, I don't know if we can deliver that, but I really wanted things to be more interactive, engaging.
It still can be interactive. And engaging would be the demo session.
But when you say demo, so there is a demo session. Do you want a separate demo session or within the?
No, within the regular demo session,
But
logistics
then,
to be
we have to
determined.
really synchronize with the demo chairs, because you know, lots of demos were rejected actually. This year, they rejected like 3
Yeah.
quarters, so.
Yeah, but we
Yes,
can't
but
reserve
demos,
that, so-
but demos this year was
Someone have to
somehow.
say, oh, pending that you are accepted as demo.
You won't be able to go after all.
They don't need to be accepted as demo.
No,
We
they
just
get,
insert them into the
they
demo
get a
session.
free slot in the demo program and the demo chairs will have to deal with it. Because worst case, we just gonna give them, so the way this is currently kind of penciled in the program is that one room would be permanently set aside for demos and interactive arts during the whole thing. Worst case, we just say, well, no, one of these days, the demo chairs don't actually get to decide anything, all the demo slots are already taken up by like this. And the rest of the slots are for the demo chairs to decide. Right? We can figure this out. We're
It might be good to do that anyway.
If you can decide that, then.
You're
No, you
back
can
to March.
actually board chair.
But it might be anyway good to have like a fixed time slot for that. because-
Yes, yes.
So people have to be there,
I mean,
and you get more dynamics if more people are there at the same time.
And we probably, we will have a concurrent, a continuous slot for all the demos that
Yeah.
just goes through the whole program and then there's a demo sort of get through. Depending on how many demo submissions and whatever, right? To be determined. That room also works because there we have,
The open space.
yes, that would be the half of the big plenary.
We've got 300 rounds beside the bar.
Yes, and it's where we would anyway stream the overflow from the room, it's all right.
It's very easy.
Things, yeah, so this would work, and this would also have the accessibility, which is why
Yes.
we also want to put the demos there, in contrast to this year, where they were behind 3 rows of poster walls.
Okay.
So, just one more question, just so you know, that we covered everything, and the reason for not doing the standard VBS/LSC format would be because we want us to learn this one. That's the main reason.
The main reason I think is that it's simpler in every aspect. And it fits very well to the format that they have in the Grand Challenge.
Yeah, and I think we use the format of the Grand Challenge, we would not force people to have an interactive system, they can choose what they have.
We want to open it to more serious sort of
And there's not so much on-site stress.
Yeah.
Because this is always.
Yes, there might be 1 or 2 other things that I can't at the same time.
Yeah. And
Okay.
this is definitely different than a single media than it is more smart. Like it's smaller.
Pretty soon we understand what to say, so they don't project our grand challenge.
Yeah.
Everything has been figured.
Okay, fine, okay, right, okay.
I think.
Okay, fine.
So some corruption, high level corruption because of camera, very good, very good.
No, it's not that.
No, it's called bribery,
No, these people already understand how these challenges work. So they will actually be able. No, because. Nutrient takes part in LC and VBS. He understands. Then some lab understands.
You wanted to. Yeah.
Graham is working.
Just finding the web page is not particularly well illustrated.
No, it's not on your page yet. These things are not on the web page yet. We have a magic internal document that has all the names.
Okay,
Those are not published.
Oh, this does not help. No.
They need a web check,
Silence.
they need a web
That
check.
makes it worse.
We don't need the web check, we just need the back end to actually publish stuff to just.
So then it's not going to be what I eat, maybe.
I'm happy that we've done enough, we can summarize this again tomorrow morning, make sure everybody's on the same page. Figure out the hackathon then too.
There were more things on the agenda, but sure, whatever.
Hackathon?
What was on the agenda for today technically was figure out also all the data augmentation things which would feed into the hackathon, plus all the collections for, now we know the set of sensors we have. Now, what would we want to do for any future iterations, and how would people possibly think of could this be done? This is not necessarily something that is to be discussed now, though it was in the agenda, but then technically it was in the agenda this morning, so.
So what does Castle 2 look like?
Yes.
Let's assume that Castle 1 has not been a disaster. It's been very successful. Except chicken. With the exception of the second fridge, Castle was pretty successful.
So far the second fridge was the biggest annual.
But I realized the brand is called Hot Points. Why do we expect it to
I feel they did not understand this.
I think for console 2, it would be great to have less of a focus on food.
Yeah.
And preparation of food and logistics of food.
But that's what brings us all together.
And then
I feel like, I mean, it can certainly be an aspect. I feel like it's really exaggerated.
a little bit too much.
It's perfect for a hackathon.
Maybe just one dinner a day.
And then do
Once a
takeouts,
day,
yeah,
and maybe takeouts for the rest.
I mean, ideally, there would just be more people, and
Yeah,
we
more
would
people.
have fewer people in per, we'd have a smaller fraction of people involved
More
in
people.
the.
But then
Right.
the cooking organization is gonna be messier with the shop
No,
license.
because then you would have
With the example,
people who are explicitly in charge of things which we did not have. It's, oh yeah, everybody does something, and then we all go through, but the people who do the shopping and the people who actually do the cooking are not the same people, and the information gets lost along the way, and nobody knows what's
Well,
going on.
I think we did a good job, right? We had almost everything we needed. We got almost everything right.
Well,
I think we
I
did
would-
well with
I
what we
would-
had.
I would-
It's just
What are you
too much.
saying that we should do?
I would argue the whole thing was well done, but there's a comma in it.
I would say very well.
Okay, but people didn't get the joke, it's fine.
I got it.
So, like,
Well done.
just as an example of how do we do it on a board, very light breakfast in a sense, spreads.
We could do like a breakfast and our
Then lunch is really cooking, evenings we always do the rest of it, so.
If we had gone to a
You are
restaurant,
aware that this is not a vote. It has different.
the challenge is, if we'd gone to a restaurant every night, what about an extra 3,000 or 4,000 euros to the cost?
Yeah.
We couldn't do it on
Could be
10,000.
on our own.
On our budget, yeah. I mean, the other logistics here is, there is no restaurant nearby that.
But that's why we chose this picture, because it was so far from everyone, there's nowhere to go, right?
There is another, I mean, another option is basically, if it's going to add a couple of people to some of them.
More helpers.
Yes, to the cooking. So that would be one option, yes. But,
Okay, but,
yeah, but, yes.
so that process, you'll see later on, is also valuable as a data, so we can do something together.
Absolutely.
One does this, another one does that, another one does that,
We do not
there are
want-
things, you
The
open.
disagreements as part of it is all part of the data set.
Totally.
Yeah.
No, the thing is that just the whole, everybody does everything somehow and nobody's responsible for anything and nobody's in charge and nobody knows what's going on. Because
Okay,
everybody does everything.
if we had Alice here, we'd all be on time. Alice, we need Alice.
Possibly. We
With a
just.
clipboard going around on,
We just
Alice,
need,
get over there. That's all we
Yeah,
got.
so basically you're saying, so that's actually a point, need the manager, essentially, who is not,
Yes, taking care of
that.
the logistics, of the details, of all the goings on.
You need a Jennifer to organise an advance, you need an Alice to organise something, or equivalent.
or something that flows on, right? Yeah, okay. But so that maybe slightly less, you know, addressing the cooking and then some of that organization, so that's a couple of points.
And what about the technical aspect?
But
2
actually,
years from now, maybe the hard will do.
This wasn't too bad, right?
It's not too bad.
I thought it would be worse.
Yeah, it's worked really well.
Middle of the day, my head was hurting quite a bit, but it's getting there.
That was something else, that was the second.
Yeah,
piece.
well, I think
No,
it's a bit of a
yeah,
pressure
yeah,
cooker.
it's-
Let's say.
It's decent, it's not great, right?
Yeah.
So there.
No, there's no complaint. I can-
If we were stuck with what we already
exactly.
happen to have
Yeah, no.
in a closet in DCD.
Yeah.
We didn't have the.
I think it's a-
If ACM give us 20,000 next
Yes.
time, 30,000,
Yes.
sure, we'll do something much nicer.
yeah.
We made it work.
Yes,
Maybe
just
40,000, 50,000.
Just one comment on what Björn said about the cooking. I think it's a good idea to have dedicated people cooking, but after
That's all.
thinking about it, I think it's very nice that we have here so many different dishes done by different people, and we could look up them later on. And also it's a lot about life, right?
Yes,
We
no,
do life cooking.
absolutely. So
Improvisations.
I would clearly vote against like the catering aspect of it.
Yeah.
But it needs, in general, I mean, we had very little in terms of an agenda, which in some aspects is good, gives people the freedom to do this. There needs to be more agenda, like in general, right? And people behind the scenes are making sure that the agenda can actually happen. Because now everybody who runs around doing things is also,
Right.
so there's no behind the scenes
Right.
support.
You see the production crew.
Yes,
Yeah,
essentially, right?
Yeah.
For a lot of things, also for various setup things, that just takes time and resources that we did not really have this time around. So essentially, if there were the option to do this with a larger crowd of people, in a larger location, it would probably make sense to.
Do you think we go back to the schedule we had 3 months ago? suppose everything was half an hour blocks. For this half an hour, you're playing.
Maybe half an
chess.
hour
But
is
it
too
doesn't
much.
need to be, it doesn't need to be half an hour blocks, but essentially really, clear and strict assignments as in, look, we have a workshop part, this is this time window, we have lunch always happens at this time, which necessitates, this time block before, and it's those people, those really know what they're gonna have, right, everything, there's like checklists and stuff. This time is dinner, this necessitates this.
It's not that far off.
But
But
basically
it
having
did not
somebody.
really, it wasn't really implemented like this, because it's, oh yeah, but let's do this another way, oh no, let's swap these two
But I
things,
still
oh no,
think
let's do this.
that is actually okay, because they
Life-
are still having.
And
our
life is also
workshop.
chaotic sometimes,
Yeah,
right?
but but this is not supposed to be,
If we
this is
had
supposed to, like,
Oh, yeah.
If you had an Alice equivalent here, with a checkbox saying, okay, you have to do the code now, so that would have been.
It's also needs if you have somebody who could take run off to the store or
Yes.
drive off to the
yes,
store.
some
daily.
some fixers,
Yeah,
essentially.
daily basically.
Yeah.
No, so what do we need for tomorrow?
Like, if one of us had been one of us three had been a helper, not
Yes.
or
Yeah,
something,
yeah.
this was-
It's not
You
much,
don't have to drive.
but it really, there is somebody who's not part of the experiment who is running the show.
So
I
need a
think that's
manager.
kind of the main,
Need a manager.
I think this
We
is.
don't need managers, we need normal people. Alex.
We need somebody normal to manage us.
Essentially, it needs a production crew, it needs a
Yeah.
director behind the
Right.
scenes,
Yes,
that's actually
yes.
on top of
Yeah,
everything
yeah.
that's
And that basically has authority over the participants.
Yes.
Yes, I think that's kind of the, when you're taking part in experiments and having authority, it's a problem.
And also, if there's no clear schedule, it is also difficult to coordinate things, because there's, I need to take care of my email, I might as well do this now because nothing's going on.
Right.
And then people disappear at random
Yes,
points in time because there's no coordination between
Yeah.
them. And also, if you say, but now we could do this, and then, but 3 people are missing, okay, now then we can't, and then
Right.
it just spirals.
We have to, if that's the case, we have to release a schedule when we're planned, so.
Yes.
Werner had to go out for a meeting there this morning at 10 o'clock,
Right.
that we have to know that can only happen at 11.
Yeah, but a person who has control of things, basically there's gonna be fairly minor things that come up. You have this extra meeting that wasn't really scheduled, you have one more meeting and there's, and somebody can basically adjust this and then the day before,
Release it.
here's a new schedule for tomorrow.
You need a printer, I know, I thought about buying a printer.
Or, need the information screen, that's alternatively, that's.
And I have to.
So,
But I think the key is to separate out whoever's running the solar producer or producer, right, from the participants. And
Those two things, so it's supposed to, no?
I think we did really well.
so I should, we should make very clear that the helpers have been excellent.
Yes.
So this is not a get us on that.
It's like saying I expected a major disaster, no aspects, apart from an occasional camera failure that happened to some people, There were no major disasters.
We were inevitably not gonna get this fully right the first time.
Oh,
I think
yeah.
nobody has run away.
Wow. Literally, there was positive atmosphere all the time.
There was a little bit of fun, right?
You know, these social experiments, you've probably seen on YouTube, going wrong.
Part of the challenge was figuring out
Yeah.
how to do this better next time.
But I think this is a really good lesson. I agree with Luca on this part. I think that would make it more productive.
More people, bigger castle.
But,
But you know,
yeah.
this can be
I'm not
also-
sure about the more people as part of the experiment. Really.
Okay.
I don't know, maybe 12 rather than 10. No, because you get more options with groups of 3 and 4.
Yes,
If you have
I mean,
10,
also
12
it-
people.
But it gets much larger.
Yeah, exactly.
More
The
jelly.
only,
Yeah, sure.
the only reason why, can I add one point in, why we didn't have more helpers was because there's a training week on for some of our
Sure.
PhD students from the group who couldn't come.
Sure.
And Robin couldn't come because she moved house last week. And Leafing is back.
Right.
It was thesis, 2 people hadn't looked at thesis this week.
Yes.
This
Yeah,
was
yeah,
why we
no,
missed.
yeah.
We actually wanted 4 helpers.
Yeah, understood.
And we bought the,
Yeah.
we rented a house.
Yes.
So
But look, in any case, the role that you're describing would have been missing.
Oh, yes.
Yes. So, and I agree that this is kind of a key
Yes,
aspect
yes.
of this.
And I mean, this is the.
A coordinator,
Yes.
Coordinate.
on-site coordinator.
Yeah, that's somebody who basically has authority over the experiment, right? I think
Yeah,
it's like having a,
who sets the agenda, who
Like-
says,
yeah,
no, now
yes.
you do
it's a
that.
very similar problem in sports when you have a player coach, somebody who's playing on the field, they cannot manage, they need somebody on the sideline to run the show. It's impossible to manage on the field. Yes, so, but even if you're a coach, you can run the session before, but you need somebody live.
Yes, but I mean, essentially, yeah, I guess this whole thing was much more ad hoc than it ideally would have been, which is fine. It was built with much less budget than it has any right to work with.
Yeah.
For which, yeah, so far so good, right? So all of this, yes, absolutely. But I mean, it's very much that, I mean, also more people, also more activities. More activities in the sense of, yeah, we kind of try to make it work, right? Oh, what can we get? Oh, we can get a few things to put stuff together. Oh, and we can get painting supplies, right? It was literally like that. It's not a
Right.
Yeah, it's more planning as well, more.
top down, thought out. It's really more of, okay,
Sure.
can we throw more activities at the thing to make it more interesting?
Instead of a laptop of, couple of things,
Right.
we thought about it, got some, we never said.
Right. Same thing with music, I guess, you know, I get it.
Maybe long activities as well, because most of these activities can be done like.
Yeah, also, I mean, the weather was mostly not cooperating, so there wasn't a lot of chance to do outdoorsy
Right.
things.
Yeah.
This is just gravel well.
But a house, next time, with a bigger garden, where we can actually do things outside.
Exercise, so that people can be sane.
Sanity is overrated.
The reason why we're here is because this was the only house we could afford.
Yeah.
We'll fix that button.
I could have got you a castle, but you'll all have to pay for your own flights and everything else, right? So it's different, right?
Yeah.
We will have spent over $10,000.
Despite all the things that you mentioned, I think you
Yeah,
went
yeah.
incredibly well
Yes,
so far.
so far so good.
Many things
right?
to
I mean,
learn,
It's not, nothing is on fire.
Like, nothing is, nobody in our community has tried to do this before. I don't think I've ever seen this. We did this computing 10 years ago, when they put some cameras up in a house, and people went in and did some ADS. This is far in excess of us.
Speaking of food, I think I got to look.
Yeah. Check the potatoes there, they were still rock solid, so.
Yeah,
what do we-
reduce that count.
What can we say?
This is one aspect. The other aspect was, okay, we have the sensors we could get on short notice mostly because you happen to have them on. This again worked. So consequently, we ran into some minor technical issues for the some reasons. But this is certainly not the best setup to do this sort of thing. So I guess and this is not necessarily something we absolutely need right now, but maybe something to think about. Assuming infinite time and infinite budget, what would be the thing we actually want to do? Because then we can go down from, okay, what if this is actually feasible?
Yeah. And I mean, so there's a question: what if the price of admission, let's say, had been some kind of equipment? So everything is paid for except you need to bring your own. Would people run into trouble?
Could be there. Okay. You have to check how you like it.
Yeah,
They're semi.
Also, there's a different
Well,
attitude.
probably
if you
fine.
watch one of the people.
No, it's probably fine. But
I don't want to do that.
Shall I then talk?
Yes.
What do you
Obviously,
want?
somehow it's a community of people.
Right.
They need to pull down.
Everybody trusts everybody.
Yeah.
And that's
Right.
fundamentally what we need to have.
Right.
But it was a 500-year entrance, so you get to keep your armor out.
Yeah, probably.
And I think it's probably easier than usually request a pro and things like that, so.
No, it's just like,
If there is a thing out there you can buy.
yeah, no, I,
You need to MacGyver it ourselves.
Well, it's just something to keep in mind, so that, you know, if there is something that is desired, you know.
One of the challenges we have with this, battery life, we went through numerous different options for batteries. I have 36 GoPro batteries in the ECU, like we bought double of everything.
Right.
More.
Luca,
We tried
you want me to pour cold water in to make them a bit colder?
Directly into
Huh?
the-
Cool them down a bit, yes.
Right. You had to go with this approach. Then there were heating. We even tried fans inside. There was a huge amount of effort to get to what actually you're wearing right now.
Right,
It actually
right.
works. So even if we did this again in 18 months' time, it's probably looking better than this still.
Yeah, there's gonna be, said, Google, maybe a very small thing, which we don't need like a calculator for our tax. More convenient. That would be.
Yeah,
More
that's
like
true.
a downgrade is probably not so expensive a year.
But look, let's move forward. I get back.
But I mean, this is still assuming that this needs to be done on sources to office.
Yeah.
So assuming this was not done.
I mean, just very similar to this.
What are you doing?
I want to know what's the matter.
Water. What is that?
Like X-Layer. If you don't, and I'm gonna fix it.
PCI is actually on the list. PCI is definitely on the list.
We can do our own VCIs. Yeah, no problem.
Well, no problem with
Not very much time, but
we need
brain genius to do those, right? So,
Oh, the equivalent.
He was not available this week. Otherwise he would have been.
lots of trouble.
Possibly, yes.
I would love
Is
eye
this
tracking.
slander already or?
That's great.
This is like.
Eye tracking on the glasses would be very nice.
Eye tracking.
Just having data on the glass. Well, there's a demo of it, someone's
What is the
using it.
research question?
Yeah,
There's not really a big research question here, we have to use it for the most part.
You know what's also cool? I heard from our forensics friends, what I kind of like these days is from data to activities. So basically, which kind of activities could we construct in sensors, like mobile, if you have it in a back pocket, in a backpack, in a front pocket, can you reconstruct the activities? Yeah, but most people in criminal cases don't do their activities, you know, like most people have a mobile, somewhere, like in a backpack, you know, that kind of activity can
We
actually
could provide everybody with a cheap Android phone that would make sensors. It's another thing for a helper to keep charged.
Well, you will get an ID.
Basically, because now one of the few sources of funding is gonna remain, is gonna be the security funding. So that's another thing to think about, if you kind of make ourselves slow onto that.
Right.
So what do you say to somebody who says, I'd like to run this experiment myself?
Be careful what you wish for.
Yeah.
Does anybody think we shouldn't have done it?
No, I think it's great. I would do it again.
I would do that. We will
Say
do
that one
it.
more.
I'm assuming that we will have to do this again at some point, 18 months. Somewhere, it doesn't have to be here.
I prefer 18 over 24 because I would land in something.
Or
doubles the price of.
Or 30.
Like
Or 30, right? Yeah, that's also fine.
this is €3,000 for, it's 5 or 6,000.
But it gives you the outdoors.
Look, next time you go back to ACM, we're asking for 25,000.
Ask for more, they're gonna show it now.
Yeah, we asked for 35. We got 10 or something.
Ah, yeah. But I mean, there is a chance, I would say, that this is successful, that it's like.
We certainly have the right to go
Possible
back.
to get a higher grant.
Yes, I think we've done a lot with this 10,000. More,
Yeah, but then you can be very concrete about what those extra, value compared to what you have. For example, better weather. It's gotta be worth, that's gotta be worth a few $1,000. That's gotta be worth.
Quite expensive purchase.
Yeah, I know, but that buys you other activities, right? Yeah. No, I mean, you can at least buy the odds of better weather, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yes. So timing, location combined to that.
What about some device?
Like it would.
That's,
In summer.
Manual.
Yeah, I said if you want
Or
something like
maybe-
here,
Or they moved or something that I always.
Yeah, not for better weather.
Manual user of ski.
Or
Yes,
there's
yes,
just
yes,
some
yes,
sort of
yes.
ground
Look,
roof or
that's what I said, if
anything.
you want something like here, very secluded,
I know.
because it's not
With the
public
directory,
roads.
Yeah, exactly, yes.
I mean, what
But
also have
skiing
is a thing that.
Activity
Everybody gets
with
a
empty slopes.
Yeah,
Some-
and it was.
That's probably.
But they don't recognize any other people.
There's an application running on this
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
lets you log things,
Mostly.
that maybe even prompt you from.
So there's one
from
slope
time
where
to
you
time
actually
Yeah.
see the helmet to enter.
It gives you a web browser or things.
No, just saying,
Yeah.
with,
So that people can do
organisms.
more things.
Oh, but for one slope, they only these requirements. I didn't know.
I think we're gonna hear the conference all of it, but you guys should have done this.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
People might have,
You could have done, why didn't you do it that way? Okay.
Right?
anything on the.
Did we,
agenda, just,
answer your question?
Okay.
More or less. More or less.
So what's up, we still have one more workshop tomorrow
Yeah.
to revise everything.
What time will we do?
And
Okay,
talk about the,
Is there a task for somebody to summarize the discussion now?
We need to write the
Tomorrow?
CMM records paper.
That's what we'll organize tomorrow.
Yes, okay, so just take.
I'll be ready for tomorrow.
So what, it was important in the spirit for Lucas at what time tomorrow?
What time for breakfast and then,
Breakfast at 9,
okay.
workshop at 10.
But for real?
Oh, no, lunch. Lunch,
I will, morning lunch.
breakfast at 8.
No,
Okay, light breakfast at 9, it doesn't require any cooking, because we don't have anything left to cook.
Yeah.
Plenty of cheese.
We have
Plenty of
cheese.
Cheese board.
No,
We have cornflakes, even
Cornflakes.
oats for those
We
who
also
want
have
to make themselves.
Christmas pudding or whatever this is, and
Right,
cake
right.
things, and.
How about everyone has their own
Second hour is-
in any place?
Yeah, everybody make your own
At
breakfast
night.
tomorrow.
So the work, the lasagna, basically the second hour preparation is inside the oven. So then that's workshop time.
Yeah, exactly, so.
Originally, the idea was to prepare the lasagna today.
Yeah.
No, but I think it's the idea.
But,
But we can take, I mean, can you handle the breakfast?
I think we're doing a workshop at,
I would tomorrow and get the breakfast.
I would like to breakfast at
One
10
day.
Yes, yes, yes.
No,
We
just
just have the
make it
breakfast.
after-
We just throw a bunch of people and we finish it in an
Okay,
hour.
so two.
Well, the
Have some more.
Okay, yeah, thank you.
breakfast.
That would be helpful.
No breakfast and a slight, a brunch, which is lasagna. And somebody wants to get food at 9 o'clock, there's plenty of food.
That is an alternative, yes.
There's the pressure.
So we have lunch at 11, right, followed by the workshop.
Yeah, I guess it makes sense of the way we can kind of go earlier already to someone.
Okay, then we start preparing the lasagna maybe already at 8.
Yes, yeah, that's fine.
And we can snack on it.
Yeah.
Crazinho,
how's it going? Pasta and
Whenever we decide they want to, right?
Yeah.
And then we have a breakfast followed by a
Oh,
sandwich.
this is gonna be interesting.
And then we're back not too late tomorrow night, because someone like that has to be at 5 AM.
Well, we see tomorrow what the weather forecast says, it can set.
Oh, the weather forecast is what I read earlier on.
Yeah.
110 kilometer per hour winds, sea breaching the, flooding,
Oh, really?
disaster, storm Danny or whatever it's.
That's Friday or?
Friday and
Saturday, and Saturday, okay. Cliffs of Moher, not so much.
Close, orange level weather warnings.
Okay.
So you
How
think
will it is?
that flight will be delayed or cancelled?
No, that's the west one.
How will it is?
Hubble.
Yes.
We might go to the Hubble, no problem, there's no point there, but that's okay. It's a Hubble.
There's lots of trees.
Lots of trees.
Yes.
And the toilet paper here is
Just-
short.
Yeah, but then, well, any traces of whatever you do will disappear very quickly.
Look where someone else is.
Yeah, so don't stay downwind, for sure.
So you're probably not doing it.
How will it is?
Hey!
Are you still doing this, look?
No, it's gonna be impossible.
Let's see on Saturday morning.
Yeah, it's like,
They do tend to overestimate the danger.
if that is reality, that is impossible.
Orange, nobody's not like, but I don't know about it.
I think it's.
So here, orange is a proper weather, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yes.
Look, let's make a decision on Saturday morning.
City weather is always much better.
Those clouds are
Proper weather.
a bit more cautious in driving. When you get to Galway, you're fine.
Yeah, on the main roads.
But after GPS, if it's ever instant on the M50 or
I think I
M1,
can
it's not getting to your.
Maybe we can decide.
You might also pre-download the local map, the GPS.
There will be points on the M50 where you can get off.
Oh, I have to get back with me.
Yeah, but if you pre-download the local map, then you basically, even if you run a you're not well connected in this area.
Check the camera, okay.
You can still.
Okay, there are much more.
Yeah, I check them so that they have to do something about it.
Anything else?
Evil paper is abusing them.
Uh-huh.
But I think always so far inland, it's not gonna be so bad thing. Yeah, this area.
Florian,
Ja.
hast du mir aber noch einen verwischt noch?
Das kann ich gerne machen. Und ich kann verder so ganz kurz auf die Toilette.
Ich auch?
Ah, gut, den kann ich kaufen.
There's not so many trees here.
Yeah, there's only two extra floors. And the big missing goes to air marshal.
But I think we will go down with you. That would be the sightseeing.
It'll be quite disappointing.
Yeah.
The kitchen isn't finished, the bathroom isn't finished, the water is not.
Yeah. We can do a little bit of work if you want. Some tiling, you know.
That much of the water is skipping advance.
You get a toilet installed.
If the toilet is there, you just have to turn on the water.
Yeah.
I don't know where to turn it on. If you can find the water, we can use
Turn it
the
on? Well, we can bring water. That actually works. Right? I mean, you can flush with the water, yes.
Workshop done.
Have you watched a movie?
Let's watch a movie.
So on your laptop?
Is there something?
I would like to watch Elephant Stream.
Elephant Street. Is open source.
Yeah, it's
It's so many times.
Yeah, I don't.
I haven't.
I did not.
I'm not so into that, but I know what watching for so many spreadsheets.
Right. But there is another one, right?
Duck and cover.
Yeah, there is also the
Which one is this one here?
Elephant Stream, and then there is.
Hey, Curly,
I know, actually, I don't.
Hey, boss.
I need the other one.
you want a Baileys?
Yes.
Grab a glass, I know where it's stashed.
I'm gonna grab the bathroom first.
Is there still Bailey?
There is even another one.
Hey, boss.
Dum, da, 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 woohoo, da, 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 da.